a better place and give you pertinent information to make wise choices as we live better lives as citizens of our country, be it St. Lucia or be it any country that you are listening from. We can make our world, our place, our community, a better place with the right information. And of course, Mind Your Business is here to foster that growth within our community. We want to let you know we are dealing with the subject today, All on Board Part 2. Of course, we have our drivers coming back. Of course, we have two different ones, and it will be a very interesting conversation that we have about the bus situation and how we can contribute and the challenges that our bus drivers face and how we can make our community a better place for even our drivers and our commuters. Our main objective today is to help our viewers and listeners gain a better understanding and appreciation of the life of bus operators, and as a consequence, assist them in providing such an important service to the village. Let me say that again, to help our viewers and listeners, to help all of us gain a better understanding and appreciation of the life of bus operators, and as a consequence, assist them in providing such an important service to the village. And our key text for Mind Your Business is Philippians 2 verse 3 and 4. It says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of the others." We want to hear from you, and we're happy to receive your calls and your messages. Of course, there is a time that we will open the lines, and you can reach us at 4521-011, 4521-011, and you can also reach us on WhatsApp, 461-9647, 461-9647. We will receive your calls, voice notes, and messages. We are also on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can also drop a comment to let us know how you feel about the program, to ask any questions or to make any suggestions based on the topic that we are discussing, and we'll be happy to receive you. Remember, you are an integral part of this program, and your comments, your questions will go a long way to making this program a success. So we look forward to hearing messages, to receiving your calls and your comments as we move forward in this program. Of course, Pastor David is not with us today. He is on travel duties, and we want to wish him well wherever he is, and we hope to see him here next week as well. So, Pastor David, we say hello to you, and we miss you on the program, but we know you're on other business to improve, and we hope to see you very soon. So he will not be here with us today, so we can excuse him just for today. Of course, we hope to see him next week as well. We want to bow our heads as we say a word of prayer. Father, we continue to thank you, dear Lord, for a beautiful day that you have given to us, dear Lord. We thank you for what we have accomplished thus far as we are about to open this program, All on Board Part 2. We pray that you may be with our guests, be with the persons who will be calling, be with our listeners and viewers who will be participating in their own way, be with the technicians and announcer here who's going to help us, and may all the equipment continue to perform to the best of its ability as we minister to others. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. We want to thank Dr. Jean-Baptiste, Dr. Naomi Jean-Baptiste, and of course Mr. Marvin James for speaking to us on suicide prevention. Remember that September is Suicide Prevention Month. So ensure that, well, you're supposed to do that for the entire year, around about 24/7, 365 or 366. But more so during the month of September, ensure that you look out for your brothers and sisters, especially those struggling with anxiety, depression, loneliness. Make sure you send the message, you pray for them, keep them prayed up, encourage them, strengthen them. Every time you meet someone, let us try to keep kindness in our mind, because we do not know what someone is going through. Be aware of this, and if you have someone who is going through suicide tendencies or ideation, or you're worried about a friend, or you yourself going through these thoughts of suicide, remember you can always call the number 203, and someone will be there to receive your call and to speak to you on the matter. So don't be shy. Take the chance and make sure you call that number 203, and someone will be there to speak to you. And they equipped us with the information so we can understand and help each other. So thank you to the Wellness Center and those persons in charge of this program for the month of September. They have lots of plans for us. Let us participate and let us help each other. Today, we are looking at all on board. And last time, Mr. Jefferson and Mr. Thaddeus, they were here, and they gave good representation to the bus drivers in terms of what we discussed. And I have no doubt that our guest today will do even better than they did. And we have one of the big shots, I can say. We have the president of the National Council on Public Transport, and that is Mr. Godfrey Ferdinand. He's here with us, the president himself. And we have also Mr. Benjamin Popo, president of the Route 2A Bus Association, who have served for over a decade as a bus driver. Welcome, gentlemen, to our program, Mind Your Business. And you can say hello to our viewers and listeners at this time.
Good afternoon, listeners, all those listening via Facebook and I think also YouTube.
Yes.
So we welcome you. We say good afternoon to you, and I hope this program will be enlightening to you.
Yes.
Yes, I must say good afternoon to our viewers in St. Lucia and around the globe on YouTube and Facebook. And it's not a decade since I've been in the
more
business.
than that.
Yes.
More than that.
It's been 23 years.
Wow.
So it's been a little while.
Yes.
So I must say good afternoon to the entire world,
Yes.
so to speak.
All right. So for that long length of time, it must be something that you love very much, Mr. Popo.
I must say, of course, yes. If you're in it for so long, there is something in it, but there is plenty challenges around it also.
Well, we will get a chance to talk about these challenges. I want to also specially welcome our bus drivers who have Praise FM locked on, and of course your customers, the commuters who are on board listening to the program, right, and those who will participate as well. Thank you for keeping Praise FM locked on. They have some of the drivers who have Praise FM. There's no other station but Praise FM playing on the radio.
That's what I am aware of, especially the Adventist drivers. So that is expected, and also the operators that would want to create a different scenario or different atmosphere
right,
than the other stations. More religious. If you're more religious, you switch to Praise FM, and so that's something. I would really want to see the data on that. How many bus operators are actually
tuned in?
Listening.
That'd be good data for us to have for sure. So we want to begin the program with we have some interesting questions that we want to discuss here at this time. So tell us, what is the best thing you like about your job?
For me, it's the self-employment aspect and interacting with individuals. My particular position as president is also the representation that I give to on the behalf of those that cannot represent themselves, as well as giving a representation that can best fit both the public as well as the operator. So just being self-employed is one, and also representing persons that needs representation and not allowing the system, I should say, if we were to use that term, to take advantage of them.
Right. Mr. Popo?
Well, the best thing about it is to be self-employed is one. True, it's challenging sometimes, even, and I mean, that was one of the main factors through COVID, the free air, between 7 and 9 and 12 passengers, plus your mortgage, your loans, and those type of things. It really give us an extra boost as the business itself, how to manage it. I think some of us did fail tremendously. Some of us, I don't think any of us did well, but then it just sends a message to all of us to let us know what time it is. It's not just a bus and running and stuff like that. It's a business,
right?
So we have come from that point from in the 80s and the 70s and the early 90s into this year today, and know what time it is when it comes to go to the bank, take a loan, and maintain your vehicle, maintain yourself, pay your dues, and also the commuters, the passengers, to be nice, friendly, and to have those customers with you on board at all times.
Yes, so thank you for that. So, in terms of the positions you both hold, you are president of the National Council of public transport, Mr. Ferdinand, and Mr. Popo, you are the president. What is remind us of the route
of BEXA? So before I was the president, I was the vice president for 8 years, and it's been 2 years now, 2 years and a little over that I'm the president.
So how is that going for you? How do you find this role?
Being a leader, it takes a lot from you, and it's a voluntary thing that you're putting up for what you love. I mean, the business you are in and the people, the driver itself. And don't forget, of it all, you have the drivers as you are the one representing them. You also get some drivers, a few drivers that would want to make your work difficult by not adhering to the rules and regulations of the association or the constitution, rather. So although when it gets that way, it builds you up to a stronger person. Yes. Challenges in business and in anything whatsoever, it helps you be a better person. So for that, I think I'm cool with it. I don't have no problem in working with whether you may not want or accept the rules and regulations. By every constitution and association and, things you put together, it has to be governed. And then that's what it is.
Yes. Mr. Ferdinand, how do you, what remind us of the role that you play?
Well, our role is very simple, and that is just to represent the different associations. Now, every association has an executive,
right,
and so the members go through the executive,
right,
and then the executive comes to the National Council. Right. And when most associations, if they cannot handle the matter, then they take it to the National Council. When it comes to a national issue, the National Council has what you call a General Council, right, which is all the presidents and one rep from each association. Right. So the National Council consists of 42 associations. Wow. And from that, we would take our two representatives from each associations to form the General Council. Right. And we would bring up the issues, and then we at the National Council executive would take it to whichever entity, if it's the government, whichever ministry. Right. So we're the ones representing and creating the representation on the behalf of every single operator.
So let me get it right. So each route,
yes,
has an association,
executive,
an executive,
yeah,
and those executives take, I guess, from the bus drivers within their route, their problems and their concerns, and they take it to General Council.
No, they handle it. If they can't handle it,
right,
then they take it to the National Council.
Right.
And if the National Council can't handle it, right, then we take it to the ministry.
Okay, all right.
So there's a chain problem.
So what you're saying that is that every driver has a say.
Every driver has a say. Just like every organization, you'd find some might not be pleased with the outcome or the representation that they're receiving, but yet everybody has an input.
Right. So in terms of the relationship between the public and the commuters with you, how do you envision that?
But I hear persons complaining about the attitude of the bus operator, and sometimes we can right now we're on a data thing where we want to put everything into perspective in terms of information. So if we get a report
surveys,
on a route,
like surveys,
not only surveys, but if we are getting reports from a particular route, we can say, okay, we've received 10 reports from that association, but then if the population is about maybe 500 persons in that particular route, we know 10 reports out of 500, the percentage. So from that, we can then say, okay, the percentage of report might be A, B, or C, and maybe we need to work on that. The relationship between individuals and the operator is depending a lot about the said route. So there are some route associations, they've got this harmonization between themselves and the community and everything like that. But then you have routes that are not neated well, they're not community routes, so you'll get a different relationship between that and a community route. When you have the community routes, most times you have this perfect relationship 1-2 individuals, you obviously will have issues, but you have persons you transporting your auntie, your uncle, your relative in a community, as well as persons you grew up with. So definitely the relationship would be different. If you have a route like going to Viewfort or going up Grosley, these are in the places where the driver might never know the person because it's not a community route. So that depends a lot on where the route is and who is operating the route also. So I think generally, and you can call, some people will call and tell you, boy, that bus driver is an excellent bus driver. And then some will call and say that bus driver is a horrible bus driver. But generally it is something where you have good relationship between the operator and the customers.
Well, the last time the representatives from the Bexon route was there, they explained to us about the community route, and they described to us how they bus the community, and that was excellent. And Mr. President, continue the good job that you're doing in my community, by the way. Continue the good job that you're doing. So that is so Bexon would be a community route, and Grosley would be a more vast.
Well, I try to get the term. There is actually a term for it.
Maybe non-community.
No. It's a business, business area, commercial area. So as a result, you just guys, every single route in St. Lucia coming to the north drops the persons for Grosley if they are working up north, and they then take them up. But sometimes the bus operator is from Grosley. He's not even from Grosley. He's not from. He's from Millet. He's from all over the place. So there is no relation. It's just we have a business transaction to take place, and we'll do it, and let's do it professionally. Unlike a Bexon, a Forestier, a Laclery. Everybody know Miss Rose from there or Mr. This from
Before
there.
you say stop in this stop.
They know that's where you stop in. So it's almost like you don't need a bus stop in the community routes. If you go into Mac, everybody knows everybody that lives in Mac. If you're going into Forest, everybody knows except if it's a visitor. So there is good relation, and as long as you're dealing with human beings, you'll get 1-2 issues. But that's not things that are too major for you to make it an issue.
Yes. So do you get many reports at all?
We do get reports. Sometimes, like I say, there are more reports from more the commercial areas than the community ones. And then the community ones also have the challenges also. You might have persons not liking a particular family or they're not liking a particular person, and that is an issue. And then they now start getting issues with that particular bus driver, saying, oh, he's not dropping me, he's unruly. And sometimes when you investigate, it's not as severe as you think. It's things that maybe should be referred to the police, not the National Council on Public Transport, or not the association. So everything, all of them have their challenges, but it's not as grievous as people make it.
So in terms of giving back to the community, what are the plans of the Bexon Association or the National Council in terms of giving back? What is done to give back?
Let me answer that first. You know why? Because a lot of persons are not aware that we are giving back nationally. Okay? We are operating an organization where the agreement between us and the government is that the school child pays 60% of the bus fare. That's already giving 40% of the fare back. Okay? The agreement is secondary school pay 75. I think primary school pay 50%. So that's a national giving back, which persons we get absolutely no appreciation for that. Okay,
True.
And we get blast for that. Obviously, some of us are looking for it because some of the operators are not treating the school children good enough. But we nationally are giving back. Now, I'm also going to show you in the same community routes, there are persons bus drivers that would not take money from certain families because they know that they are struggling. Okay, and some would even give the children money to go to school. So then I know for my community, I'll allow my colleague to answer, but I know from my community we were
which community is that?
This is Forestier. Forestier, Tiroche, Geno. We used to give to the Hess School. I don't know if we will we have to continue that. We used to give to the forestier feeding program, and so we need to start that again. COVID have actually put a stop to a lot of things. So we saying that now, I think they'll get the message again, and the association will have
get a call after this program
from the school. But yes, we do give back. Some associations give to the feeding program, some give to individual families. I know some associations that give back in terms of helping during the school holidays in purchasing school books and so forth. We do not always announce what we give back. I think most of them are religious. They don't want to know what the left hand is doing, what the right hand is doing. But yes, we do give back. I don't know exactly what Bexo is giving back.
Well, for the Bexo Association, we it's been a little while now. We have this in place where we give back to the community. I think there is a good few who knows about it, and some of them don't. But we do give back in ways like funeral. We give buses. Maybe 1 or 2 buses. It all depends on how large the family is and stuff like that. We have also been giving donations to family via letter, so that we can bring it up to the executive or agree and disagree at what amount we will give this person, whether this person has a stroke, ill, whatever way it is. We have always been giving to the Bexon primary school also, and that's where we keep most of our meetings, for graduation and so forth, So, we do give back a lot, and we always open and listen to the community, because our route one is we need a helping hand as always for the commuters, because our route from Wavin Poisson to Castries it's fully open. We have marking a little inside place there, but apart from the 80% of the people they live on the highway, and for that we always have to get in touch with them, talk to them, and certain things. You will not find all the drivers will do the best to, some of them are a little different than the other, but you find at least 75% most times do wait a little bit for a Bexo bus. That's why we came up with that yellow sticker thing, and, to differentiate Dennery, Valley, View Fort, and those places, So, and from that was suggested by me. That time I was the vice president. And, they themselves, the commuters, they welcomed that from a distance.
Yeah, I really appreciated that when that came.
Yeah, they could have seen the difference with the bus. Well, even within the time when we did it, Dennery really got affected. And, Dennery, big up yourselves, but, they came around with the same egg sticker in orange. In pink, not orange, because I was in yellow. So they did theirs in pink, and they put it up. But as time goes by, I think it faded away for them, and we must say thank you, But we kept it, and we've been keeping it, and stuff like that. So we've been doing, and our hands are always open to this community of Bexon, Wavin Poisson, Mark, and the lower part of Bexon.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much for that. So our bus drivers do give back, and I never looked at it as giving back, because the children paying less. I always thought, I never thought of it as the drivers giving back, but it is what it is. It is, and imagine how things are hard if we had to pay the full fee for your child, and sometimes we complain about where the child sits on the bus.
Yeah. Now, let me just give some more background to this. If you have your child traveling with you to the United States or anywhere, there's no child fare. It's a private entity putting on the prices. There's no child fare. You pay a full fare for your child traveling on an aircraft. Those of us that have traveled overseas, there's no fare for children on those big buses. There is this thing. You take a seat, you pay. You understand? But the fortunate thing about them over there is that they've got more, the population is larger, a lot of subsidy from the state in that they can say we're not charging anybody below 5 or something of that nature. But after that, everybody pays. When I travel with my daughters, they had to pay. And sometimes we come here and we want to make it like as if, the bus operators are greedy and this. But there is, and I also blame the authorities too, because they've never explained these things to the public to know that, hey, these bus drivers, operators are actually subsidizing by not charging the full bus, because it's a private entity in partnership with the government.
Yes.
And the only thing the government regulates there is the fares. The fares. They have their conditions of operation and everything like that, but the fares is regulated. It's almost not almost, it is price control. And we have to give that up. If we were to say a seat is a seat, imagine charging a child passes to Viewfort $10, and a mom or a parent have two of them going to St. Joseph Convent. That's $20 one way, $40 a day. So persons need to take these things into consideration and realize, okay, we are contributing, we are giving back. However, show a level of appreciation, show a level of respect, because some people, I can tell you, just like in the days of bananas, people look down at farmers at the time. And now people still look down on bus operators. Oh, I can never get friendly to a bus driver and so forth. And sometimes their dad is a bus driver. Their uncle is a bus driver. So that means you look down on that profession like as it's nothing. And I'm saying this because most of the persons that hold key positions in St. Lucia now, their father were a farmer, then send a bus driver that send them to university. Now they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're whatever. And they still, some of them have that perception, this look down kind of perception on bus operators and farmers. Okay? But these two occupations, without transportation, you cannot have national development. It's a key. There's no national development. When the farmers were king, they developed this country. Because they were able to bring foreign exchange. Persons do not respect, and I don't know if it's our mindset, our education, or whatever, or if we don't read enough, or if we don't open our eyes enough, but it's important for us to understand the importance of certain sectors. I mean, I lament all the time about why maybe the state should at least subsidize the operators by allowing them to, paying them to operate at nights for places like canneries and ancillary, so you could have more of these individuals coming up to Castries to further their education at SAF and so forth. What if we are interested in national development, all these factors must be on the table,
So in terms, let's do, because we spoke about a lot of things there that interests me with my questions. Let's go to the appreciation part. So based on what you're saying, do you feel appreciated as a bus association, as a bus operator?
No.
Mr. Popo, do you feel appreciated
as a bus operator? Ask the question again, sir.
Do you feel appreciated as a bus operator, as a bus association?
You mean towards the public?
No, do you feel the appreciation of the public towards you?
To a certain extent, yes.
Okay.
Because like I say, it's a back and forth. You find some don't, but some do. So it all depends on how the level that you keep yourself with those people. You understand? So we have a balancing there. Okay.
So in terms of the public showing appreciation, how can the public show appreciation to drivers?
Well, I think it's just a matter of respecting the person and acknowledging that this person is playing a critical role in the development of the community and the development of the country. If there were no buses going to certain communities, what would happen? I remember when I was playing cricket, and when it's 5:40, you can't get a bus to go to my community. In the 80s, you couldn't get a bus to go to my community. It's just 15 minutes drive from Castries. So thankfully for me, my brothers were living at Black Malay, so I'd shack out there. But I was playing cricket for the national team. I was playing for Lancers and so forth. So after training 6 6 o'clock, you can get a bus. So a lot of persons gravitated to staying in Castries because there were no bus,
transportation,
to go back after a certain hours. Today, as we speak, the last bus leaves at midnight for Vieux-Fort. 11 o'clock. They have the Dennery associations doing the 11 o'clock. And then we have Mondi had done an excellent in terms of the way they operate in terms of the night service. Grosley almost have a 24-hour system, even though it's not as efficient as we would like it to be. But yes, there is bus system that is working and is providing a level of development in the country.
So you just want your commuters to show respect?
Show respect to the operators, and show treat them professionally like you would treat somebody when you go to the bank or to the lawyer. It's an important trade they're doing.
So when you describe the important role that bus operators play, I noted some of the terms that you use in terms of development of the country, in terms of even productivity, because you have to take the workers to work early, they have to be on time, all right? And in terms of persons going to school and seeking university, if they don't have their own transport, they would have to get the transport. So in terms of sustainability of the transport system, do you see a lot of young persons getting involved? Is it of interest to them?
Yeah, we have a lot of young persons coming in, and some of the things I like, although we are on discussion about that in terms of certifying them as bus operators. Before, persons just came in, as long as they've got an e-endorsement, they can drive.
Right.
It would have to become mandatory for you to go through the certification process for you to become a bus operator. Right. It is important for us now because unlike before, a lot of these persons leaving secondary school, we have university graduates also doing busing, and they come with a level of professionalism, a level of knowledge, so they know what is expected in terms of customer service. But yes, I see a lot of future in busing because a lot of the permits are being passed on to the children, those that did not go to university or those that choose to be self-employed, those that choose just to do that because they love it. And for that reason, I see there's a lot of continuity in it.
Right. So if I'm listening to you and my child, I'm a lawyer, I have a big job, and my child tells me that he wants to be, or she wants to be, because we have female bus drivers, that I want to be a bus driver. What response should I give my child? Because a while ago you mentioned that it's a profession that is looked down upon.
Yes.
Right, just like the farmer. So how do you respond to my child saying, Daddy or Mommy, I want to be a bus operator?
What I can say to them is come in and make the difference. Okay?
Sure.
Some of the reasons why we are where we are now in the bus sector is because those that came, they didn't know better. Okay, they were never exposed to customer service. They when the banana industry collapsed,
like a hand mouth.
Yes. When the banana industry collapsed, some fellas had some money, they just sold land and they buy a bus and come on the road. They've never been trained, anything like that. Today, if your child wants to, he or she knows that they will be trained properly. They already have the mindset, business mindset. They will approach the business differently. When you approach the whole bus sector as a business, your mindset and your service is different.
True.
So that's what we need, and we need more young persons to come. And I know for a fact, I always wanted to see more ladies in it because there seems, to me, when a lady is driving minibus, it's totally different from when the guys are driving. There's a different approach. I have not seen a lady driver driving minibus, and when she finished, she goes and stop by the bar.
Yeah, true.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, I've not seen the few female drivers that we have that they stop and before they go home, they according to the fellas, 5 Guinness. No, they finish and they go home. I don't see them liming.
No.
You know, some of the downfall of the sector is the liming, the gambling aspect, the humanizing aspect, and hence the reason why there is this struggle. Obviously, we have other challenges, but if you're into business, that's not free fellas you should be playing with.
Yeah.
So, so you bring a point there just before we take a break. So, how can the association? We know that these are the challenges that some of our bus drivers have, especially our male. We'll discuss the female drivers a bit later. How can we help our bus drivers who have these struggles as an association?
Well, I come in from a religious background, right. Would want all of them to go to church. But obviously, I would want, we are planning to do more training for them. Yeah. We've also planned to do certification of them. Right. So you would have to be certified. Even though you've been in the sector for a while, there will be a level of training for you and continued training so that you could maybe an exposure to some of the programs like you all had in terms of suicide, right. and also addictions to certain substances and alcohol and every other thing that persons can get addicted to.
So we will take a short break, and we are here talking to our president of the National Council on Transport, and we also have the president of the 2A Bexon Bus Association here with us, and we will come back as we continue our discussion. And we will come back as we continue.
They will treat each other like sister and brother when they all get together with the Lord.
The Emil family brings to you Friday Night Fellowship on Praise FM. It is a night of worship for family and friends, short Bible stories for children, singing, Bible quizzes, tips for all members of the family, and much fellowship. Join in with us as we welcome the Sabbath together. We are looking forward in spending time with you again. Tune in every Friday night from 6 p.m. for Friday Night Fellowship Live on Praise FM.
When we all get together with the Lord.
Praise FM is your inspiring listener-supported radio station. We enjoy providing you with holistic programming that ministers to your overall development and enjoyment in life. By giving a monthly contribution to Praise FM, you help us place Jesus in the lives of many people who support your favorite programs. To make a donation to Praise FM, write to us at P.O. Box CP 6141 Castries, St. Lucia. Make your checks payable to St. Lucia Mission of SDA, or simply drop off your donations at our office. We are located on Lance Road opposite the Camille Henry Primary School, upstairs the Good News SDA Church. We thank you for your prayer and financial support. Partnering with Praise FM is an investment in eternity.
Yes, we still want to say welcome back to our listeners and viewers, and we are here discussing All on Board Part 2, and we have representatives of our bus drivers or bus operators as we discuss issues related to them and, of course, issues related to us. And our lines are now open. You can call us at 4521-011, or you can use the WhatsApp platform 4619647. You can also drop a comment on Facebook or YouTube and let us know if you have a question or comment, you have a concern, a situation that you want us to address. We have the president right here with us of our National Council right here with us, and the president of the Bexor Association here with us to discuss those matters with you. You have a comment. Can you read the comment that you have, please?
So we have a comment here. We go to that comment. It says, just a reminder, I drive the Choiseul Vieux Fort route and I provide a service to my community, which I love doing. Preschool kids in uniform, primary school kids in uniform, your bus fare is free. Gentle reminder, our kids are the future of tomorrow. Also, if you are a dialysis patient or you are on dialysis, your bus fare is free. With the hashtag, God bless the hustle.
Yes, Sam, we are very appreciative of this innovation by our driver, providing a community-based service and knowing the challenges that our persons in our community face and willing to sacrifice and give back to them. So we really appreciate your contribution, Mr. Driver, and to all other drivers listening who are making a similar contribution. We also appreciate your sacrifice and giving back, knowing that the future is in the hands of the children and giving good support to families as well. It's lovely to hear that. How do you feel about that?
I know the gentleman very well, and I know things like that happen. Yes. I know persons that do not take money from the elderly. Yeah. Okay. Now again, we were discussing before this community base. So let's say in a community where you have like 10 elderlies, maybe going and get the NIC payments and stuff, check on that once a month. Okay, or twice a month they go. There are operators that wouldn't take their money. Okay, and that happens throughout St. Lucia. Okay, it will not happen with all the bus drivers, but some of them, they provide that kind of service. They treat these young children as if it's their own. They provide lunch for them. They give them money to go to school because they see in the community the struggle, so they assist. Like I said, it's not everywhere, but I do feel good about that, and I mean I don't want to blow my own horn, but I know of persons within my road association that does that.
Yes. So let's talk about in terms of the road conditions that we have. What are your reflections on that, the conditions of the road? And maybe, Mr. Popo, because especially what's happening in the cul-de-sac region and so on and so forth. What's your comment on that, your take on
that? For one, I think the road condition in the tunnel cul-de-sac area, the condition is not to the best. Now, it's not so much pressure we can put on maybe the contractor, the government, whoever, but we just need to see it's moving.
Right.
I was surprised because I live in Odsa, and I have a bus on the Lacqua route.
Right.
And I did 2 days operating on that route sometime last week. And I was surprised. The condition, Lacqua, Badney, go down for Odsa. I mean, I live in Odsa, so I live just the lower part of there. So not so often you find I do the round like Lacqua, Badney, that area. But the condition of those roads there is just not good at all. And then I hope, the Minister of Infrastructure, or the government as a whole, is hearing or listening, or somebody can pass on the message to at least, we know there's a project to start anytime early next year, from cul-de-sac to Soufre, but at least block the holes.
Yes. Yeah. So how does that have a great effect on the operation of a bus?
Yes, it is, because you have a car which has just about 2 passengers on there. Yes. That vehicle is still a light vehicle. But when you have a 14, 15 seater with 14 passengers traveling up and down in those holes, and suspension parts, plus we have a 2.5% on VAT. The price, so we don't have to say the price of everything has gone up. Just recently I would have bought 4 tires for $1,600, and now I'm paying a few dollars to make it $2,000. That's just one. The suspension parts are very expensive, and buying the parts is one. So for instance, you buy a lower, you buy a lower bushing to put on your lower arm. You go to Beachcomber, that alone is about just a bushing. It's $160 something. Right. That's just to buy it. So now you need to go and press it on that lower arm. Right. That's another press in and out. That's another $70. Right. And then you need to go and pay a mechanic to put it on your vehicle for you and to align it and camber it to, because without that, your tires can't last you.
Right.
So when you go by 4 tires as a bus driver, you now need to check your suspension.
Right.
So that tire can last you at least 6-7 months.
Right.
Because if you buy 4 new tires and the suspension is not good,
you have to buy
the tires will not last you for months.
Right.
It will be rolling in a crooked way,
Right.
and it will eat up on one side, and it's wired. Then you have the police will stop you, give you a charge of $500. The police himself don't really care about how much you pay a tire or what's the condition of the road.
Right.
So they are doing their dues by doing what they're getting paid to do.
Right.
So so just buying a bushing is that it doesn't come on the vehicle just so. So buying a bushing, pay to press it in, pay a mechanic to push it in there for you, and to align it, camber it, and get the tires. It costs you a lot.
Right. And then you're off the route when you're doing that.
That's right, and nobody compensates you for the time that you've been lost.
Right.
So what we do as an association, on the other hand, as me, the president, when your vehicle is broken down, we allow you to come back on an off day, because we have, Bexon has, imagine that we're an open route and we has like 57 buses.
Wow.
And plus we have Denry Valley, View Fort, plus Millet passing through.
Yes.
Picking up 1 or 2. Yeah, we make a little thing with the commuters that a few would wait, but some of them, if they're late, they may just have to go.
Yeah.
So it is not the easiest task. I see a few people come and buy a bus and just thinking it's just put passengers on and go and collect money. That's not what it is. It's way beyond that. Behind the scenes, you have to know it. That vehicle have to take time out to repair, mechanical work. Your seats need to be covered. The tires need to be intact. The suspension, just driving an old vehicle in that road and then, that person bouncing all about the place. Tomorrow they may not want to board it. You have to put it intact. Or you go on an upgrade by getting one of them long nose from Beachcomber. Yeah. Right now the price of one of those buses is what, $165? What for?
Yeah, duty free. Yeah, about
165,000.
Yes.
After you remove the duty. I heard some ridiculous prices. I can't really speak to the price now because I know before the price after duty would have been about 160, 140.
I think
but I'm told it's raised again to 180 for it. So it might be about 165 now.
Okay, so there is simple mathematics in there. And let me just do a quick breakdown. So just let's say you go and you do an upgrade. No, nothing wrong with doing an upgrade, but then you have to be strong to maintain it for some years.
Mm-hmm.
So you buy a bus for presently as we speak, let's say 170,
right? And
then the bank gives you 7 years to pay, right? Your first insurance is about $15,000,
right?
Year 2, it might be about 12.5 or 14. Year 3, it might be about 10. Year 4, it might be about 9.95, somewhere anywhere there. That's just one. And then you have to match down to the bank
every month
with about 2005.
Right.
And you will be doing that for about 7 years.
Yes.
The value of that vehicle drops down every day.
Yeah.
That's true, right? Just say you fall into an accident. The insurance or this guy who hit you, they say, I'm not at fault.
Yeah.
And the police has to send a report. The report alone takes about 3 months. That vehicle now, remember you have a loan of 2.5 every month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you use your bottom dollar to purchase that vehicle and to pay the first insurance.
Right.
So 9 months down the line, your vehicle jump into an accident. The insurance may not settle you. I say may because you find sometimes if you're fully comprehensive, they may settle you, but it all depends.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
They not settle you. So you have to wait 3 months for that police report. When that report comes out, maybe if you at fault, whatever it is, you may get compensated. But that money will be going to the mechanic or the body man or the insurance. So it's not any profit you making from that time you lost. You understand?
Right.
So it's a whole. Don't ask for if that has to go to if you're a third party and then you have to go to court. Because present, I can speak for me. One of my drivers were in an accident since 2021 within COVID.
Wow.
And up to this day, it's still pending.
Wow.
You know, today was the court case and then it's still adjourned to another 2 months again. You know, so if you didn't have maybe a $5,000-$10,000 to repair that vehicle and to get back on the road, you are jammed.
Well, I want to congratulate you on your 23 years, because that's a lot to go through. We were speaking on the road conditions. You wanted to speak on that?
Yeah, well, obviously he spoke about, you know, the losses and operational costs.
Right.
Will take into consideration the different parts and everything that you were spending. I mean, I was just doing a rough calculation while he was speaking. If you buy a bus for $170,000 and you're paying insurance of $15,000, because every year it depreciates in terms of how much you're paying. In 5-7 years, you would be paying at least about $80,000 in insurance only. Okay, and if you're paying the bank $2,500 in 8 years, in 7 years you'll be paying $210,000, and then you add the $80,000. That's $290,000. Yeah, that's a big investment. That's almost, well, it's $250,000 worth of investment.
That's a big investment.
So you're talking about $290,000. Okay, just in paying the bank, paying the insurance. Okay. Yeah. And then you have not taken into consideration the servicing of that vehicle, which is monthly, or some persons choose to do it every 2 months.
Of course.
Okay, so in essence, when you look at the operational cost of that vehicle over the 7 years with just the basic things, you're looking at over $320,000 being spent on the vehicle.
Yeah, but So
somebody, before you come in, I heard somebody saying, "Oh, but you're not telling us how much you made."
But I was just about to say, is it a myth that bus drivers always have money?
No, well, obviously you have money because you're using money all the time. That doesn't mean the money is yours. The money is the bank owned, the insurance owned. But yes, you're handling money. There's a difference between handling money and making money that's yours. The profit margin is what I always ask the bus drivers to be able to calculate, which is, are you making 2% profit? Are you making 3% profit? Or are you making 10% profit? Obviously, for you to do that, you must do the calculations, and that means the cost of the vehicle, cost of operation. Now that was just a sidebar. Let's talk about the road condition. If you buy a tire it's $400 and something to $500 for one tire. Wow. And you hit a pothole, sometimes that go bad. Who repairs that? And so that can happen 3 days or 4 days after you purchase the tire. Right. And if you hit that pothole, and it means that your suspension parts can go. Rims. Okay, your rims, your shocks. Well, don't ask those sellers with fancy rims. It's cracked. And then you're talking about a $3,000 investment in rims. Okay? So I'm just saying to you, we are taken aback by the speed at which the road is deteriorating. I'm being honest with you. We are taken aback by this. But we're also taken aback by the speed at which it is being repaired. Okay? To me, there are some places the road should never reach the stage that it reached. Because if you just maintain it with potholing, we would be okay. Okay? Although some of the potholing is questionable. Okay, because you have potholes where when they fix it, it becomes a speed bump. Okay, and it's more dangerous being a speed bump than anything else, than the hole itself. So we have situations where, especially the Castries-Soufrière route, Castries-Beaufort route, major roads, you have potholes in corners. Okay. Why should you allow a pothole on a main road? Okay? So these are our biggest problems in this. Now, we're not saying that the minor roads are not important, but just to show you how they have neglected the roads. Because if they did do what your maintenance of the road, some of the roads will not reach like that. Let me give you one. And one that is frustrating to me. Riverside Road, Waterworks Road. Before the street lights, you come from and drop your children at the Andrepo, Hess, and you're going to use Waterworks Road. Just before the speed lights, okay? Before the lights. Idle Bakery towards the light. There are holes that if you were to rush, if the light turned green, you would need to go and repair your vehicle immediately. Why would that happen when you know that road?
In the middle of town.
In the middle of town. We have backup from there to all the way back to the Castries Evangelical Church. And we have backup all the way on the Marshall Road, all the way to sometimes the police station. You know that road is so busy, you're allowing potholes to be on that? Wouldn't it further reduce or make
productivity?
Exactly. Productivity is, well, I don't think we are concerned too much about productivity in this country.
But in terms of once the potholes in our communities, would you encourage residents who live close by to a pothole per se to I mean, if the interest of the bus drivers, the commuters, you have a little cement, a little concrete, you're doing a little repair at your home, you just put that in there.
You get persons doing that all the time. I mean, we wouldn't go as far as planting the banana tree in the road like I've seen before. But yes, persons do that. They do that. But I'm just, again, from the council's point, we just believe more can be done. And unless somebody can give us an explanation, we will not be able to understand it. But we believe more can be done.
Yes,
okay?
And I agree with that. And it's not just the bus drivers who are suffering with that, but those, of course, who have the private vehicles as well. We believe that we would encourage that because it benefits everyone, especially since we have a source of funding for road repair in terms of how much is paid for the fuel, in terms of that is catered in as well.
You actually see the amount on a monthly basis. How much do they collect in time?
I don't know. I don't have that figure.
The public should demand just like the CIP asks for how much was collected on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis. Because at the end of the day, I think persons are supposed to be answerable to the public because the public is the ones that put them in. And if that's what we want to see, we should ask for it. I
wouldn't say put them in. Maybe the public are the ones paying, so they should know how much.
So why is it?
We're the ones making the contribution via our fuel. But I want to move away from this topic a little bit.
It's a little too political.
Yes, and we want to get into in terms of music played on the radio of drivers, the level of music, the type of music being played. So can the driver play anything? Because since it's a private bus, can drivers play any music?
Well, some do, but at the end of the day, you should be playing what is respectable, what you your customers are liking.
I think we have moved a long way from the radio and the sound system. I think we have had great changes. Yeah, you may find one or two, but then from where we were like 10 years ago, and I think we get a little less entertainment of school children, because if you're a business person and you know what you come to do, then putting loud music will entertain children. Now you don't find so many children do the gathering on the bus stop because there's buses from different communities that government been contract to. So from you find less of them group up. So you they're a little more scattered. So I don't really think you may get one or two. I've seen it on the north side of the island, but we get a little less of that now. Yeah, but still, you although there's some other radio stations you find that play the type of music, although they pause a few in the mute a few in the lyrics.
The lyrics,
the lyrics in it. But I've listened to the radio and you still hear it. So, but that I've cut a bit. I think by about 85%.
Right.
So I think we kind of okay on the radio business.
All right. So in terms of the commuters, if the commuters feel as if the music that the driver has been playing,
once they're paying the fare, then the driver up to load on the music or put it off entirely.
Okay. How do you please 14 passengers? One country and western, the other one on soft rock, the other one love songs. So the actual ideal situation would to be not to have any form of music, which was what was recommended before. So there would be no amplified music in a bus system, because remember there was a crackdown.
It's in the Constitution.
There was a crackdown on it. There was a crackdown on that. It says no amplified music. Part of the conditions of operation said no amplified music. Now, you see, we don't move with time. So the vehicles that come now come with internal amplified systems. So you don't have to put an extra booster for music, because your system is already boosted internally with all the amplifiers, and then you can play music as loud as you want. However, the ideal situation is for you not to have music on the thing. So people play their radio. Some people, when they go in on their tours or trips, they would play their music. But generally, you would hardly hear a bus operator ponging music like before. And if you do get, maybe it's a younger guy. You know, he just came in and he went. But that doesn't, before, also the music was to attract certain customers. Now there is no need for that, because there's a queue to follow. It's your turn and then you go.
It's true. Just a reminder that our lines are open. You can give us a call if you have any questions or comments or queries. Remember 4521011, and you can also leave a comment on our various platforms. We will be glad to receive your calls and your messages. In terms of a bus driver's role towards unsupervised children, you have children on a bus. What's the expectation of the bus driver when it comes to that? Just children, no parent.
How old are the children?
Well, let's say probably under 12, primary school children.
Generally, the children are okay. 12-year-olds, they want to go at their home. They'll be a little loud and noisy, but at the end of the day, that's it. They know their role. The bus operator knows, especially if it's a community one. Where they go in, where they stop in. If they want to behave a certain way, they can report them to their mom. You know, although the moms these days are not like the moms before. When you report them, the moms before would have spanked them. Although we don't believe in spanking anymore.
Scolded them. Maybe scolded them and talked to them. Yes. And the differently abled.
The differently able, we don't get much of it.
That's right.
We don't get much of it. However, we've always made representation within the government sector, with the government, to allow us to operate, those disability, differently able buses on on some of the routes, so that the government would be the one paying for that, not because you can't run that kind of bus alongside the main buses. So you have 10 wheelchair persons for a particular community. You set up, just like the overseas, you set up the times for appointment. These persons don't necessarily just go to town, because town itself is not even friendly to them. You understand? Some of the buildings are not friendly to them. We need to get to that, because I can tell you, in St. Lucia we have a lot of disabled persons, but they stay inside.
But most of what may have to happen is to first do what we have to do to get to the government so that we can purchase those buses. And after those buses purchased, we have a contract where they pay us, not the family.
These people can't pay.
No, not the family.
Definitely
the government has to pay us a monthly salary, and each association can order a bus, whether via member or the association itself, and we have a salary, and they call us within those hours. So if it's between the 8 to 4, the 6 to 3 in the afternoon, whatever it is, and when the month ends, that becomes us. So that has to go through the government. I don't know if Mr. Ferdinand may ever want to think of, trying that letter or whatever.
We've tried it. The government is willing. I'm not sure about the compensation aspect yet, but the go ahead is given. Go ahead is given to purchasing these vehicles duty free. Okay. But in terms of the compensation, we have to negotiate that.
How will, because the population of St. Lucia it's little. And what amount of people can afford to pay, because it will not be a normal fee where you pay $40. It would have to be more than that. because it's a special type of bus.
Right.
Because, for instance, my mom is in Matnik and she has a leg condition, and every Thursday,
They pick up.
Yeah, pick up.
Yeah,
bring
so
up a
something
fr-
similar to this. Where it cannot be that bus running the road. It's on a call basis. Now,
Appointment.
Appointment aspect. But we have that service already here, but it's not as desirable as we would want, because the persons have to be paying. You want to reach a stage where the government pays for this,
of course.
or persons' insurances pay for this. So you have 5 appointments for the month. You're picked up and everything, and the insurance or the government pays you.
Yeah, but I want to say commendations to Nixon on the Mark bus stand who transported my sister for many years. Many years. I think more than almost 20 years.
Yeah,
almost
very long
20
time.
years. And he would
From
drop her
A-level
home.
and-
Yes,
I
yes. He
remember
would drop her home. And so, and we have our bus drivers who are very sensitive, and they take care of persons when they come out.
I, for one, I used to, when I see she by the road, I used to sometimes go on the other side, or I make sure I stop, get down, open the door for her.
Right.
And how is she doing, though?
She's doing good. She's driving. She has a vehicle. Yeah, she's a driver now.
She could see now.
Yeah. But my sister she's paralyzed.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Max,
Yeah. True.
Yeah, she's driving a vehicle. She was on the program some time ago as well. But she's driving a vehicle. She has
I got mistaken.
So
I got
hers is-
mistaken. That's
hers
somebody
is-
else.
She has a handheld
gears.
Yes.
And everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
good.
So let's look at the pregnant women. In terms of pregnant women, is there a special seat? You put them in a seat you avoid?
Well, they choose their seats, because most times, for sure, we'll not allow them at the front.
Right.
Okay, if we will not allow them at the front, and they themselves would not go to the front, except if there's some, again, troublesome person. But they normally sit where they feel comfortable. So you'll never really get a pregnant woman sitting right at the back.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
center
it's
the
somewhere
vehicle.
center, just behind the driver, because they know the safe parts of the bus in terms of
How it rolls.
how it rolls,
Right.
the bumpiness of the road, and so forth.
Well, we even had that put in place where elderlies and pregnant women we would give them the priority to board the second vehicle on the queue.
Wow.
But that now has become a little problem, because when the first vehicle is loading, you're supposed to have the rest of them closed.
Right.
So we used to give that priority to
Pregnant women
and elderly persons on the Bexar bus stop to board the second bus. However, you find when we allow them to go in, other persons would go into.
They thought they were pregnant too. My goodness.
So that become a little troubling.
Yes.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to be treated special.
That's right.
I suspect that's
so
what it is.
it's something like S moon sapli moon passing way, or that kind of thing there.
Say bobo dem muna gobo dem. Muna nilaj.
Yeah, true.
Let's look at the conditions of some buses. Should commuters enter a dirty bus any day?
There's a yes and a no. So, for instance, now we have Tunnel Road under construction. All that cement and thing going on there on the road there. So, it is difficult that a bus driver start works at 6 o'clock and end work at 8 o'clock or maybe 9. Or it could be 7:30, and then to wash a bus entirely. You can do a little mop down and stuff, but not on a regular day you will find a clean bus. It all depends on the road condition. So for there is one or two drivers that
I guess the buses need to go.
the buses need to come out.
Okay, and that's not within our power. That's not within the association power. No.
We need to let the
that is that of the ministry.
Well, true.
Yeah.
No, but
so let me explain this.
Yes.
Let me explain this to you. We can make the recommendation. Okay, we are not an enforcement agent. Okay, we can suggest. We do not control the license of the license of that vehicle, the registration of that vehicle.
No.
We don't control the license of the driver.
No.
We cannot suspend his license. We cannot suspend the vehicle either. You understand? We can discipline the owner.
Yes,
the driver say,
Yes.
okay, based on that infringement of whatever based on our constitution,
Yes.
you have to stay home.
Right.
Yeah.
We
But
found you guilty. But in terms of the bus,
yeah,
Somebody else can
somebody
drive.
can drive it.
Yes.
Okay.
If they meet the requirement. You know, so that's some of the things. But when it comes to the question that you asked, diplomatic answer, the customer always have a choice. Okay?
Not to, yeah.
You always have a choice. You see a bus coming, and they practice it all the time. They see a bus coming, they see free buses coming, they see Olweche, people. And then after you see me, I go take the third one. And then they realize the third one is full. You understand? So there is always a choice. But I want to raise the issue of the condition of the road and our weather patterns now.
Right.
Imagine you wash your vehicle in the morning
Right.
to go to work.
Right.
By 8 o'clock, it's really dirty.
Yeah, right.
You watch and you say, let me try to wash it at 9. So we have guys sometimes washing the vehicles while they're on the bus stop.
Yeah.
And while he's washing it, it starts raining again.
Yes.
Okay? And then before he reaches cul-de-sac, when he reaches cul-de-sac,
Of
I
course.
shouldn't say before.
Of course.
When he reaches cul-de-sac, he doesn't have a clean bus again. He has a dirty bus. And then person say, "Basarel Sali," but the point is there are reasons why it's dirty. If you tell me about the conditions of some vehicles, I would tell you obviously some need to go.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
It's
ask.
a difference
Okay.
between the dirty bus in terms of
Cleanliness.
because the condition of the road can have the bus dirty. However, there are the conditions of some buses that are both dirty
And dangerous.
and mechanically a hazard.
That's in the interior part of
Both
the vehicle.
the interior
And
and
outerior.
the outerior. I mean,
Exterior.
I see some buses and I'm saying, but why is that bus on the road? Okay? I'm wondering if any government official is seeing it.
Okay. So
Before we had systems
I
in
just
place.
just wanted to know something quickly. So if I board a minibus and let's say my shirt got stuck
Torn.
between a
right.
vehicle, a seat or something,
Got on.
you as the president, I reported to the president, that bus cannot be taken off the route.
No. I can make a recommendation
Recommendations.
to the ministry to get this bus off the road.
Wouldn't you caution your colleague to say?
Yeah, of course. We do that first before we go to the ministry. I'll give you an example. If somebody's vehicle, if somebody's clothes get torn on a vehicle, what we would do is call the driver in and ask to compensate the person.
Yeah.
Okay? Most times they compensate the person.
Right.
Sometimes you get some really ignorant passengers, and sometimes you get some really ignorant drivers. So then there's a back and forth. But generally, if it is handled the proper way,
Right.
the operator would be willing to compensate. We also have the same issue with fares. So sometimes the passenger doesn't feel that the driver overcharged. They call us in, we ask the driver to compensate.
Right.
Okay? And then we also have this fair dispute where persons feel, the fare should be starting at 250 here, and where I stopped it was at 225.
Right.
So that too is brought to the minister, to us, and we try to resolve it. If it's not resolved at our level, then we just send it to the ministry. There's a chain, and I can say that openly.
Chain of command.
Yeah, there is a chain of command. However, I think our biggest problem in St. Lucia is enforcement. There are always laws for everything, but it's enforcement in every area that you can think of. Enforcement is our problem.
Yes. In terms of now, we had asked that question last time, close to it, but we want to know your feelings in terms of bus drivers being harmed. We have the situation of what happened on a bus stand some time ago where someone lost their life because of a dispute. How do you relate to what has happened in that situation or other situations before where bus drivers have found themselves in this situation?
Well, it's rather unfortunate because we've lost a few to that. I mean, I was a young guy when we lost a bus operator on the Forester route. He was murdered while driving on duty. He had passengers on board. I mean, in my mind, I can never forget that moment. because that happened a few yards away from my home. You know, so I was one of the persons on the scene. I thought the guy maybe had a stroke or something. Only to find out that his neck was slashed. So then we had this guy from Lackery. They found him somewhere by the quarry side there. We've had a few of our colleagues that have gone the way of murder. You know, we don't always understand why, but when it comes to security, I think we do a horrible job of securing our business. You put cameras for your home. You put dogs. You do all what it is, burger bars for your home, for your security. Your vehicle is your workplace. And there are technologies that would give us enough security. But this fear of spending is what is causing us to be where we are. I believe with the type of technology that is out there, there is no way somebody should be involved in a crime to a minibus operator and for them to escape. Because you can put hidden cameras everywhere on your vehicle.
True, but
you know?
I think the question by itself, you haven't answered. Based on what happened to the Grizzly guy.
No, I don't want to answer that.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest, it's not fair to answer it. It's an ongoing investigation. We cannot answer that. The only thing I can say about that matter is that this particular individual were brought to the ministry several times. That's the only thing. But apart from that, we can't even make reference to that case.
So we're not answering directly, but we can say something to say.
No, I said it was unfortunate. I said it was unfortunate.
In terms of maybe some kind of classes for drivers in general.
Yes,
self-defense.
Sometimes drivers can be frustrated, and maybe that can lend to these situations. Because we spoke about road conditions, we spoke about tires, we spoke about suspension, we talk about money to the bank, and all these things can add to the frustration that bus drivers face.
But again, we are saying that if this person go through the certification aspect that we are recommending, that would cover everything, because you would have to be certified to be a driver. We know for a fact that there are some of our operators that need anger management courses. So we would incorporate it into the certification aspect. We know that there are associations that have made recommendations for some of their operators to do anger management courses, including substance abuse. So it depends on the situation. He being a president of his route, if he sees somebody that has an addiction to alcohol or to anything, he can make a recommendation and say, unless you get it right, you cannot drive again. And the same applies to any other association. So when it comes to this unfortunate situation that happened there, because and this time around it's more like, oh boy, a driver did the act. In the other thing, it was always somebody doing it to a driver, and that's some of the things that we take into consideration.
So in terms of the bus sector in the next 5 years, what's your vision? What do you envision?
Well, the bus sector in the next 5 years, definitely we will have a cashless system, introduction to the cashless system where persons would be able to pay by card or by ticket. Well, more card, because ticket is out of the way. More a card system. In the next 5 years, we are looking at having more younger persons in the sector, implementing the cashless system, implementing a disciplinary committee, which will be able to put more drivers, bring them before the Ministry of Transport to handle some of the issues that are taking place within the sector. So we will have a cashless system, we will have a disciplinary committee, and we will have an upgrade in terms of persons entering the system have to be certified before they can drive.
Right. So, thank you very much. I don't know if you have any final comments in terms of what you want your commuters or your bus drivers to hear, your final message to them, Mr. Popo, and then Mr.
Well, my final comments is, to the Bexa drivers, the commuters, and the world on the whole. We have been doing what we're doing to make the Bex Association a better one. We work with the commuters, the people from the area. We support them if we can. We do what we do best to work with the commuters, and we will continue. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so let me just say thanks for having us.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. And we'll keep the door open in terms of if you need additional information to our operations and any information that you would need reference minibusing. So thank you for having us, and we look forward to maybe another opportunity to speak in reference to anything to do with busing.
Yes, we want to thank the president of the National Council for being here with us this afternoon and for engaging us in the discussion we have had on all on board. And we also want to thank the president of the BEXO, the 2A Association, who's there, and all the persons who contributed. I know Mr. Jefferson, Mr. Jefferson for his contribution to this program this afternoon of many areas, both Part 1 and Part 2. Let us continue as bus drivers who are listening, bus drivers who are tuned in, to continue to do the wonderful job that you have been doing, and to be innovative in and also to employ human relations, good human relations with your commuters, your customers. And of course, we want to also bear in mind to all those persons who use the bus to also develop good relationships with our bus drivers, and to make life, to ease the burden on them, and to make sure that we work together both as bus drivers and as commuters. I don't know if you have any more comments on any calls on the platform. Nothing as yet. Maybe our listeners and viewers are well comfortable with the work that you'll have done this afternoon. So we just want to thank you, and we want to thank you for taking part, and thank you for listening to our program this afternoon, and may God continue to richly bless us and protect us. I just want to say one prayer for our bus drivers and our commuters as we move on from strength to strength. Let's pray. Let's bow our heads for prayer. Father, we continue to thank you, dear Lord, for this program that we had this afternoon, dear Lord. We want to lift all our bus drivers, those who are listening and those who are not listening at this time, dear Lord, into your hands, into your keeping. We know that it is only through your protection, dear Lord, that they can travel to and fro, leave home, and return safely, dear Lord, because we know how dangerous the roads can be, dear Lord, claiming the lives of so many individuals, dear Lord, both passengers and drivers as well. We thank you for your continued guidance and your holy angels that continue to surround them, dear Lord. May you continue to protect our drivers and our commuters on the way, dear Lord. We also want you to be with them in all facets of their lives as they continue to provide a service to your people, dear Lord. May you continue to envelope their hearts, and may also be with the commuters as they deal with the drivers, that they may also give them high regard and high respect in their field. Thank you for our guests who have been here with us to share this information. May you continue to guide them and strengthen them. You know they are leaders in their field, leaders in Bexon, and also leaders in the national field, dear Lord. May you continue to give them insight, direction, patience, and leadership skills as they deal with our drivers. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen, amen. We just want to thank you again, so may God continue to bless you. And remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, and whatever you do, mind your business.